Breaking news, NFL fans. Hold on to your jerseys because we've got a bombshell that's about to shake the league to its core. The Dallas Cowboys and New York Jets are in deep talks for a mega trade that could redefine both franchises. We're talking star players, draft picks, and enough drama to fill a season of hard knocks. Stick around as we dive into the juicy details of this potential blockbuster deal that's got everyone from Jerry Jones to Joe Douglas burning up the phone lines. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. Hey there, Cowboys Nation. Welcome to Dallas Cowboys Fan, your ultimate destination for all things America's team. Whether you bleed blue and silver or are just starting to catch Cowboys fever, this is the place. If you are a diehard fan, please make sure to subscribe for more latest news and updates of your favorite team. We've got some explosive information that's about to rock the league. Buckle up, because we're diving into a potential blockbuster trade that could reshape two franchises. Alright, let's cut to the chase. I've just received word from my sources that the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Jets are in serious negotiations for a major trade. That's right. Folks, America's team and gang green are at the table, and things are heating up fast. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, let me remind you to smash that like button and hit subscribe if you haven't already. We're breaking news left and right, and you don't want to miss out on any of the action. So, what's the deal with this potential trade? Well, my sources tell me that the Cowboys and Jets have been in talks for the past 48 hours, discussing a deal that could send shockwaves through the NFL. The exact details are still under wraps, but I've got some insider information that I'm about to share with you. First off, let's talk about the Cowboys. Jerry Jones and the Dallas front office have been looking to make a splash this offseason. They've got a talented roster, but they're clearly not satisfied with how things have been going. The team has been stuck in a cycle of mediocrity, making the playoffs, but failing to advance deep into the postseason. It's clear that something needs to change, and it looks like they're ready to pull the trigger on a big move. On the other side, we've got the Jets. They've been rebuilding for what feels like an eternity, and they're desperate to turn things around. With a young quarterback in Zach Wilson and some promising pieces on both sides of the ball, they're looking to accelerate their timeline and become contenders sooner rather than later. Now, here's where things get interesting. My sources are telling me that this trade could involve multiple players and draft picks. We're not talking about a simple one for one swap here. This has the potential to be a landscape-altering deal that could impact both teams for years to come. Let's break down some of the potential pieces that could be involved in this trade. On the Cowboys side, there are a few names that keep popping up in discussions. First and foremost, we've got to talk about Ezekiel Elliott. The star running back has been a cornerstone of the Dallas offense for years, but his production has dipped in recent seasons. With Tony Pollard emerging as a dynamic playmaker, the Cowboys might be willing to part ways with Zeke if the price is right. Another name to keep an eye on is Michael Gallup. The wide receiver has shown flashes of brilliance, but with CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper already in the fold, Gallup could be seen as expendable. The Jets are in desperate need of weapons for their young quarterback, so don't be surprised if Gallup's name is part of these discussions. On the defensive side of the ball, there are whispers about Leighton Vander Esch potentially being involved. The linebacker has had his ups and downs in Dallas, and with Micah Parsons emerging as a superstar, the Cowboys might be willing to move on from LVE. Now, let's shift our focus to the Jets. What could they be offering in return? Well, the most intriguing name that keeps coming up is Quinnen Williams. The young defensive tackle has been a force on the interior of the Jets' defensive line, but he's also entering the final year of his rookie contract. If the Jets aren't confident they can lock him up long-term, they might be willing to move him now and get some value in return. Another player who could be on the move is Denzel Mims. The wide receiver hasn't lived up to expectations in New York, but he's still young and has plenty of potential. A change of scenery could be exactly what he needs to jumpstart his career. Of course, we can't forget about draft picks. Both teams have valuable selections in the upcoming draft, and you can bet that these will be a major part of any potential deal. The Cowboys currently hold the 24th overall pick, while the Jets have the 13th selection. Don't be surprised if we see some movement with these picks as part of this trade. Now, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds too good to be true. And you're right to be skeptical. Trades of this magnitude don't happen every day in the NFL. But let me tell you folks, the buzz around this potential deal is real. I've been in contact with sources close to both organizations, and they're all saying the same thing. This trade has a real chance of happening. Of course, there are still hurdles to overcome. Salary cap implications, contract negotiations, and medical evaluations all need to be sorted out before any deal can be finalized. But the fact that these two teams are even having these discussions speaks volumes about their willingness to make bold moves. Let's talk about the potential impact of this trade for both teams. For the Cowboys, acquiring a player like Quinnen Williams could be a game changer for their defense. Pairing him with Micah Parsons would give Dallas one of the most formidable front sevens in the league. And if they can add some draft capital in the process, it could help them address other needs on their roster. For the Jets, landing a player like Ezekiel Elliott could provide an immediate boost to their offense. Zeke may not be the same player he was a few years ago, but he's still a talented back who could take some pressure off Zach Wilson. And if they can add a receiver like Michael Gallup to the mix, it would give Wilson another weapon to work with in the passing game. But let's not forget about the risks involved here. For the Cowboys, trading away multiple starters could disrupt the chemistry they've built over the past few years. And for the Jets, parting ways with a young, ascending player like Quinnen Williams is a huge gamble. There's always the chance that he could develop into a perennial All-Pro, and the Jets would be kicking themselves for letting him go. That's why these negotiations are so delicate. Both teams are trying to maximize their return while minimizing their risk. It's a high-stakes game of chess, and one wrong move could set a franchise back for years. Now, I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about this potential trade? Who do you think would come out on top if this deal goes through? Let me know in the comments below, and let's get a discussion going. Before we wrap up, I want to remind you that this is still a developing story. Things could change quickly, and there's always the possibility that the deal falls through at the last minute. But I promise you this, I'll be keeping a close eye on the situation and will bring you any updates as soon as I get them. All right, that's all I've got for you today. This is Football Frenzy signing off, reminding you to stay tuned and stay passionate about the game we all love. Peace out, football fans.